Welcome to this tutorial. We're focusing on paper 3 exam question practice and we're looking at question 2 from 2019 about victims of crime. So on paper 1 and paper 3 there are short questions, 4 and 6 mark questions, but they are largely knowledge focused, but they are a fantastic way to pick up some essential marks. These questions will ask you to outline 3 things. These could be factors, reasons, ways or problems. For example, outline 3 criticisms of labelling theory of crime, and you can prepare for these by asking your teacher for a question bank or writing your own for each topic and preparing your own mark scheme. Your answers should be short for each point that you ask for. 1 or 2 sentences are enough. Start each point on a new line, and if you are not sure if they're all right but can think of an extra one, you can pop that down. On both of these questions you should be spending between 1.5 minutes per mark, so that is 6 marks on question 1 and 9 marks on question 2. However, you may answer these much quicker, which is perfect because you want that extra planning time for those longer answers. So let's check out this question. My main advice is when you do look at the questions for the first time is don't panic, take a deep breath and do the triple read. And that just means you read it once fully, the second time you read and underline, and the third time you read and you annotate and make some brief notes around it. Now the trigger words for this question are reasons and victims not reporting crime, and you'll get 1 mark for each of the reasons and a 2nd mark for explaining it. And here it's sometimes useful to give an example of a crime and then work back to why that person or that victim might not report that crime. You may want to pause this here so you can have a little bit of a go, and then you're going to check it out with the mark scheme. So as you can see on the mark scheme, there is a range of reasons such as wanting to protect the perpetrator or simply unaware that they are a victim. Now this will only earn you 1 mark, and you have to provide an explanation point to be awarded the 2nd mark, and this explanation point gives some context to the reason, possibly an example of a crime that they may have been a victim of or some circumstances why a victim may not report it. Checking out the student answer, visually this student has given 3 clear reasons, each are starting on a new line, and they've wrote just the right amount for that 6 marks. The first point given is actually not one of the bullet points on the mark scheme, e.g. a victim may feel powerless against a perpetrator, for example large corporations. However, the mark scheme does say other relevant material should be credited, and this is a real credible reason. The second one, which is domestic and sexual abuse, the victim may fear negative repercussions. This was bullet point number 2. And especially if this person is a family member who they are a victim of. And then finally, bullet point number 3, the victim is unaware that they are a victim and not reporting it due to that reason. So for all of these reasons, they either give an example of a crime or a context that supports the reason given, and that is enough to gain the 2nd mark for each of those reasons given. The examiner report is released after the exam, and it's a real good summary about how each question is answered in general, and this is where you can gain insights to what the examiners were looking for, and these are available for all exam series and available on AQA. And as you can see, this question was generally well answered, with most students scoring at least 4 out of the possible 6. The most popular was lacking confidence in the police or fear of retribution from the offender, e.g. a repeat attack for example, and some students gave examples such as domestic or sexual assault, and that gave context to the reason why that victim didn't report it. However, once again, failure to achieve full marks is due to repetition of points given or a lack of full explanation to gain the 2nd mark. And it does also mention here that some students wrote answers that were far too long. Ideally, your answer should not be longer than the page that is given. Here's another question for you to have a go at. Outline 3 criticisms of labelling theory of crime and deviance. Use your notes, revision material. You can create your own mark scheme, or you can check out one of my earlier videos, which I do go through this answer, and time yourself for answering it and play being the examiner. To summarise, please read the question at least twice before answering, highlight and annotate to organise your thoughts, new point, new line, ensure you give that identification point and an explanation which links to every part or every hook in the question, and practice, 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 create your own questions or use question banks provided by your teachers. So massive thank you for watching. All links are below, and if you do have any questions, please pop them in the comments and just keep watching, because coming up next will be question 3 from this same paper 2019. Bye bye.